What's going on, people? I would like to welcome all of you to another Q11 edition of the Talk to Q radio show. My name is Quincy, and this is my show. And with the Q11s, what I like to do is interview people to expose my audience to new things. I talk to authors, entrepreneurs, entertainers, counselors, other podcasters, and sometimes just your everyday person who just has something to say about a particular topic. So it's an opportunity for you to get to know these people up and close and learn their story. What sparked the passion to choose a certain career? Or what inspired them to write that book? Or why is this person so opinionated about a particular topic? So just sit back and enjoy the show, and please be encouraged to share. A lot of my guests, much like myself, kind of do their thing by word of mouth. So the more that you share, like, or comment on a social media post, then the more you can help me grow the show. And it also gives more support to the people that I bring on the show who are looking to get their services, products, and talents out to the masses. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. What's going on, people? All right. I want to welcome all of you to another Q on One edition of the Talk to Q radio show. My name is Quincy, and this is my show. Broadcasting from the T2Q Man Cave. I had a show guest ask me about some of the things that are up on my wall behind me. Like, let's see, on this side, I have Dr. No, which I'm a James Bond fan, the first James Bond movie. And I have the Avengers over here. Right there is my favorite singer, Sam Cooke. I don't know if you can see above Sam Cooke, but there's a Harlem Nights poster. I have Breonna Taylor over here on this side. And right above my head, I know you can barely see it. It's actually the cast of Scandal. At one time, I was a big Scandal fan, and I don't know. I'm looking to replace that, though, in all honesty, sometime soon. But anywho, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll bring on my guest. And my guest is the host of the podcast, Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy, from the Empire State of New York. Please welcome Chrissy to the Talk to Q radio show. Chrissy, what's going on?
Good morning. Good morning. I am still waking up.
Come on now, on the East Coast, it's already 11 o'clock. I mean,
Yeah, but it's Saturday.
all right. I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that. So let's start a little bit about you before we get into your show. Now, you are a hospice. You work in hospice by profession, if I'm correct. How did you get started in that career?
So I am a hospice nurse by profession. I also do community nursing as well. So we deal with the geriatric population that are just coming home from the hospital. We do nursing visits to make sure that they don't end up back in the hospital and keep them safe at home. So when I was in kindergarten, I remember saying I wanted to be a nurse. I knew from 5 years old that I wanted to be a nurse, never a doctor, never anything else but a nurse. Um, I became a mom really, really young. I was a mom by 15. So at 17, I started college and I started nursing. But, in New York, the wait list was long. And I ended up landing a really great job that had great benefits and great pay. So I stuck with that. I ended up going back to nursing in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I got my nursing license. I knew that's what I wanted to do. Now, I always say I didn't find hospice. Hospice found me because I was working as a pharmaceutical manager for a couple of years. And, I sat there and I said, this is not what I want to do. Like, I always wanted to be bedside patient care. This is what I wanted to do. This is why I wanted to be a nurse. And I decided, I said, move me if you're going to move me, keep me here if this is where I'm supposed to be. And within a week, I was a hospice nurse and I haven't gone back. And I've been doing that for over 5 years now with hospice. So it's, like I said, I did not find it. It found me.
All right. I mean, one of my show legends does that line of work as well. But I mean, it seems like that would be a difficult profession for a lot of people. What does it take to be able to comfort someone, I guess, in their last days? I mean, is it harder to comfort the patient or is it harder to comfort the family that's being left behind?
So what I found is that it's harder to comfort the family than it is the patient. There are some patients that are just not ready to go because we deal with ages 0 to 99, right? Or even beyond 99. I had a patient who was 105 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So we do it all. So when we get the younger 21-year-olds or even 50-year-olds, it's the patient that's usually finding it harder to, part and separate from this earthly plane. But as they get older and they're like in their 80s and their 90s, they're like, listen, all my friends passed. I've lost my parents. I've lost the people above me, aunts, uncles. I'm ready to go. I've had a good life. I've had a great life. So I find that it's harder to comfort the patients. But for me, I'm not a big person about talking faith. But for me, because I have my faith, it makes it easier. I've been very fortunate and blessed to witness atheists find Christ on their deathbed. You'll be surprised at things that you realize when you're taking your last breaths. Um, so that's been really rewarding for me. Also rewarding is walking into these people's lives at their most vulnerable time in their life, right? This is they consciously know that they're about to lose the person they love so dearly, and being able to provide that comfort to them and have them just, I don't know what words I say, but they find peace in what I say. And that makes me feel like I made a difference. Like, right? Like I have my purpose and this is my purpose. And that brings reward to me that I'm able to comfort someone at that most vulnerable time in their life.
That is great. It takes a special type of person to do that. That's a very difficult line of work. But okay, you decide also that, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. All right. How did the Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy come about?
So I say a lot. Listen, don't just edit it out. I think it's just my talking. I was on a podcast previous with a couple of other women, and it just didn't kind of go the way that I saw it to go. So parted ways, and I knew that I had knowledge and all this information in my head. My grandfather was an amazing individual. And when I was a little girl, I used to sit with him. I mean, I'm talking about 9, 10, 8 years old, sitting with my grandfather, across from, he's on one couch, I'm on the other couch. And we would just sit there and just talk about stuff all day, like aliens, religion, relationships. Like I felt like my grandfather was the guru of knowing it all. And when I had those moments with him, it brought me so much joy. Like it sparked so much joy. I lost him when I was 18 to cancer.
Mm.
And I found myself when I was like, listen, if I heard you having a conversation and you were seeking information or seeking knowledge, and you didn't ask me, but I knew the answer, I was cutting into your whole conversation. You didn't even have to know me. I'm like, hey, let me tell you where you could do this and find that. And but the excitement that I have in my heart when I do that, being able to help someone. And I guess that's the same thing with nursing, right? I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
Nurturing, during those difficult times, and then also being able to provide information and knowledge to someone else. So I feel like it was just a natural progression and transition, because my show is a knowledge-based show. I mean, we have fun sometimes and goof off, but other times we have some serious, heavy topics or some just very educational topics. And last weekend, I had a obesity and lifestyle board certified doctor come on and talk about health and fitness, and so I do everything under the sun, and that's kind of where it came from. And I've just been enjoying the ride, and seeing where this takes me. There are some days that I'm like, am I really doing this today? But then, as soon as I get in front of the camera and I'm talking to the guests, it's like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I understand that. I mean, because your show concept kind of reminds me of my own. Like you, I want to expose people to different topics and scenarios that may, help enrich their lives in some sort of way. And one of those things being relationships. I think that too many people have it twisted as far as what a relationship is. Why do you think that people just can't get on the same page about what a relationship should be?
I think that is because we're selfish, right? We know what we want. but we also know what we're not going to give up. And most of the time, it's a lot that we don't want to give up. I am fortunate enough with being in hospice and being able to interact and connect with, people in their 90s and 80s that have been married 60 plus years. Right? So you don't see that anymore. So every time I get that opportunity, and because I'm trying to also provide comfort and have these families remember their glorious moments and their memories, I ask that question of what did it take? How did you stay married that long? And the answer is always the same. You need to love them even when you hate them. And you need to love them more than you love yourself. And I know that's a hard concept to grab because you're taught you got to love yourself more than anything else.
Right, right.
But this is what true unconditional love is, right? That is truly unconditional without conditions. So I think we've got it twisted because we're in the now generation where we want everything now. And if you don't fix it now, and if you don't conform to my standards, then I'm willing to walk away. And this checklist that men and women have is really ridiculous if you look at the checklist. Like half of those things should be thrown out when it comes to physical attributes or financial attributes or things like that, because if you're a team, you can build that together. I mean, not the physical, but I think
Well, in a way you can.
Well,
and you can motivate and
yeah,
work out with them, and a lot of ways you can.
True. So yeah, that's my thing. That's what I think. We're selfish.
So do you feel like a relationship can only be strong if there's conflict and drama? I mean, a lot of people think that's the best way to build and fortify a relationship. Like you have to go through something.
No. No.
Short answer.
No.
Thank you. Good night.
No. I'm gonna put some substance behind that. I say no. Now every relationship is gonna have an issue. You're not gonna agree completely 1,000% on everything because you're two different individuals, and some of the differences is what brought you together, right? So I don't feel like you have to go through these explosive arguments or situations or ordeals in order to build a better foundation. I think the foundation starts with trust, respect, loyalty, and love. And none of those in there say argument, disagreement, or huge blowout. Now, can you build those things through conflict? You can, but that's not the only way you have to build it. I think the more you can have a thorough conversation and actually express your emotions and feelings. I was not a big feeling person. I used to be like, it's a feeling, get over it, keep it moving, right? Like that's it. But when we talked last time, I told you how detrimental I was in my first marriage. I was not the nicest wife. I was not a good wife. I was very horrible to him. And I recognized that, and I knew within myself I had to change. So coming into when I went into my second marriage, I knew what I didn't want to do. I knew where I needed to make those changes for myself. And I'll tell you right now, he is amazing with deflection, right? So I will ask a question and he's like, not answering it. It's a setup question and there's a follow-up coming and I'm not doing that. Like
it's a trap.
Exactly. and I have nothing else. My recourse is just to sit there and go, oh, okay. I'm not gonna argue with him about it, but we've gotten through a lot of things with the new attitude, with that new attitude of so I don't. So the short answer is no. The long answer is what I just said. You don't need conflict to build a strong foundation. There will be conflict though.
Right. And I agree with you. I think that people think that drama is a part of a relationship and it's not. I mean, now, of course, if something comes up and you get through it, yes, it can fortify the relationship, but it's not mandatory. It's not required. It doesn't mean your relationship is not real just because you hadn't gone through anything. So I wanted to get your opinion on that. And you and I have had side conversations before about relationships. And one of the things we discussed was bitterness. Is bitterness one of the reasons why so many people go into relationships, new relationships, with a closed mind or half efforts?
Yes, I think so. I know I did it for a very long time, so I'm going to speak on experience. Definitely not an expert in this, but just experience. And I do believe that. I believe that your experiences are your experiences, right? And your experiences are what you know to be true and factual because they are yours, right? And you actually went through them. So you're not going to be able, like, and just like we say with our kids, right? We try to teach them through our experiences, but they're never going to learn unless they actually go through it themselves. So I feel like when you come out of a bad relationship after a bad relationship after a bad relationship, the next one you go into, you're going into it with the same bitterness, the same baggage, and you continue to meet the same type of men because you have the same type of mind frame, right? So
Right.
you're attracting what you already know. In order to not be in that same ballpark again, you need to remove yourself from the situation and say to yourself, what is it within me that keeps attracting this same type of male, female? Both, because it's both, right? It's male and female. And then once you kind of, because we also have past trauma from our childhood that we don't resolve, or we think it didn't cause trauma and doesn't bleed into our adult life and then cause situations in other relationships. If you seen your mother deal with men that weren't the greatest, or if you see your dad was a jigaho, right? That's what I call them. Then you know, these are things that you're taught. These are your experiences. So yeah, that's my little term. That's my New York term. And then you know, you do carry all that. So it's not just the bitterness, it's any experience. So if you give yourself a positive experience or allow yourself to have a positive experience, more than likely you're gonna carry that positivity into the next relationship versus the negative.
Okay. I think that's very well said. And, some people, both men and women, allow their preconceived notions to determine how they approach relationships. So, how do we get people to divorce that mindset and approach each person with an open mind? Don't be naive, but don't jump to conclusions and assume the worst about people.
So it's definitely work within yourself. Sometimes it may be to the extent of where you need professional help, where you need to sit down and have a conversation with someone who is trained able to help you unpack that luggage, right? Because sometimes we can't see past the forest for ourselves. And we do more detriment for ourselves. So sometimes you need just, even if it's not a professional, but a friend, like a wise friend, an older friend who has much more experience than us. I had dated this one guy and he changed my mind. And I used to always say, you got to trust, you got to earn my trust. You don't just get it right off the bat. And he, although he was one of those jigga right? He had game. What he said made sense. He said to me, why do I have to earn your trust? What did I do to lose it? And I sat back for a minute and I was like, you know what? That is definitely a different perspective.
Yeah, mad game.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that be naive to the
Right,
game
right,
that's being played.
right.
But what he said had a lot of substance to it. So I started changing my view, and not just in romantic relationships, but in every relationship in my life, friends, co-workers, family. I'm gonna bring you in at 100% trust. You've got 100% trust from me. And then if you start chipping away at that trust, you did that. That
Right.
wasn't me. I gave you my heart wholeheartedly. Now, do you get hurt sometimes when you jump in with 100% trust? Yes. But every time you open up yourself for love, you open up yourself for pain. They go hand in hand. There's no way you're going to be able to love with the expectation that it'll be pain free. So I do now change the way I think about things, and I give 100%. And if I get hurt in the end, I did it with an open mind and an open heart. And it's one or two things happen, right? I either won or I learned a lesson.
All right. And that's the important thing. If you're going to be, someone's going to give you a lesson, you might as well learn from it.
Yes.
So, all right. So, what about people like you mentioned selfishness earlier? Do we just not know how to treat each other these days? I mean, are we always looking for someone to do things for us instead of someone to do things with us when it comes to relationships?
I do think that the majority is and I see a lot of these guys. I have more male friends than I do females. Lord knows why. But a lot of the guys that I interact with and are friends with, they go, they want to, these women that I date, they want to know how much I'm making, what my career is, what my this is, what my that is, and I want to know what they're bringing to the table. And it's like, you can't, I feel like there's a double standard, right? That the man has to have all this on the table, but the women don't, right? The women don't have to come to the table with the same thing, because we have, so this is what I love, right? We have this old notion that the man is the provider and the protector, and the woman's the nurturer and the caregiver. But then you got women who want to be, and I'm gonna get heat. Y'all are gonna hate me, but it's all right. But then we got women who want to bang on their chest and claim independence, but then still want this man to be a man. So, like, what do you want? Like, which one? Like, you can't have it both ways, right? So, I think, and you know what? It could go the other way too, as well. You've got some of these men who don't have anything going for themselves, but then they're like, I want this woman to be this way, this way, this way, and no kids. And it's like, well, I mean, bro, what you bringing to the table? So it is a vice versa thing. I do i do feel like if we start looking at this as a team effort, because I did that for a long, and listen, I am speaking from experience. It's not, I'm not making this up. I, for a long time, did think that way. And my first marriage, I was the one bringing home the money and, taking care of all the finances. And I didn't think it bothered me. But then when he started getting lazier and lazier and lazier,
Mm.
it was like, well, hold up. Like, nah, we not about to have me paying 95% of the bills, you paying 5%, and then doing nothing else. Um, so I definitely think that if he would have looked at it more as a team, like, all right, no problem. She's making the money. She's taking care of all that. I have no problem with that. But let me make sure the kids are good. Let me make sure the house is good. Let me make sure when she gets home after doing a 16-hour shift, dinner is cooked, and stuff like that. Then that would have been a team effort.
Right.
So when there's a deficit somewhere, I think we start making that problem like, hold on, what are they doing? And not so much as a team effort thing anymore. So I don't know if I talked in circles, but I think I got to the point.
No, I think you made sense. There are a lot of people who feel like they're only happy if you can do something for them. They're only happy with how you make them feel, as far as materialistic things or taking trips and things of that nature. And if you can't provide that to them anymore, then you have no value to them. And that's just unfortunate. That's not supposed to be how it works. And I've had many shows about what men can do to better themselves. And you just spoke recently about how you had to learn to treat your man in order to be a better woman to him. And I see tons of people posting on social media about what men don't do and what women don't do. I mean, if you focus on fixing yourself, do you even have to worry about what everyone else is doing? I mean, won't that special person find you because you'll stand out over others because you have the right mindset?
Hmm. I believe so. I believe when you're happier with you, your outlook on things are different. So you're going to attract different things. Um, like I said, I was a mom at a really young age. I got pregnant at 14 and had her at 15. And I used to hang out with the guys on the street, in the hood, and, the hood dudes, the block dudes. And I remember after having her, I said, if I want to do better, right, I have to change my circle and change my surroundings. If you continue to swim in the same pond, you're going to continue to catch the same fish. So you need
Hmm.
to fix you, right? in order to, and when you recognize where it is in you, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person, and it doesn't mean you failed, and it doesn't mean that you're no good. When you could, so there's Maslow hierarchy, right? And the last level is self-actualization, which nobody ever gets to. I mean, if you did, then I don't know what your purpose on this earth is for the rest of these years. But everybody's seeking to get to that top tier, that the top of the pyramid, the self-actualization. But you have to do the work to get there, and that is recognizing where you are good, right, and what you're good at, and then where your flaws are at. And I think once you get right with you, everything else kind of works itself out.
Very well said. I think that you're right on point with that. And so we'll get ready to wrap things up and let the people know what's on tap for Ciphered Knowledge in 2021.
So I want to first thank you for having me come on. I really enjoy these conversations. Either I'm going to get heat or people are going to love me. One or the other.
Hey, as long as they're getting the truth, I mean, that's all that matters.
And it's my truth. It's not their truth, right? And this doesn't reflect anyone else. But you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you just look up Chrissy Cipher, or you can go to my website and everything is there. It's www.cipheredknowledge.com. And that's, if you look, here. Yep, right there. The website's right there. You can go there, just one-stop shop, and you can get all my season 1, season 2. So today I have a psychic medium coming on, and we're going to talk about how he got there. And then tomorrow we're doing a wine episode part deuce, because we did a wine episode season 1, but I'm giving away a big full wine basket.
Shut up.
Yeah. So we're going to make it fun. We're going to make it interactive. What we're doing is everybody's posting their names. I have if you go to Ciphered Knowledge page on Facebook, there is a link where all you do is drop your name in the bucket. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be picking 3 guests, 3 winners to come on live with us tomorrow. We're going to play a wine trivia game. And then, hey, Angel. And then we're going to give that away, whoever wins the trivia. So it's just me. It's going to be wine night, virtual wine night out. Everybody's going to have wine in hand. But if you come on, I have someone who specializes in autism. I have comedians, actors, podcasters, medical professionals. I mean, just go take a look at my website. You'll see everything there, past and present and future.
Sounds like you have a lot to offer. I need to step my game up. You step my game up.
Hey, this isn't a competition, right? So, I have no problem extending my hand out and bringing you on. Come on. Who you need?
That's what we're here to do. We're here to uplift others. I just want my fans to be exposed to new things and new perspectives. And I think your show does a great job of that. And I'm pretty sure that everyone that goes to take a listen will enjoy. So there's the IG, there's the website. You want to check her out. Chrissy, host of the Ciphered Knowledge podcast. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join the show. And I mean, it's like I have to admit, it's funny because I talk to people from all over the world, and I enjoy just talking to different people, different perspectives, and of course, different accents. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, if I had to do a recast for a reboot of Do the Right Thing, you have to play Tina, Rosie Perez's character. You would have to play Tina because you are New York. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. You are definitely New York. And I mean that with the utmost of confidence. I mean, a compliment. I really do.
I appreciate it. Trust me, when I get mad, Rosie Perez all the way.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to join the show, Chrissy, and we'll do this again soon. You know, don't be a stranger to T2Q.
Absolutely not. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you everybody who watched and listened.
Okay. And so that's going to do it for this Q-on-1 broadcast of the Talk to Q radio show. Go to talktoq.com, sign up for the email newsletter, find more information about shows. Please be sure to leave a review All right, wherever you listen to the show or watch, because we do Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well now. Be sure to leave a review. That helps with exposure, helps drive the show as well. And I would definitely appreciate any type of feedback. So I hope that you all have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday. This is recorded on Saturday, January 16th. And we'll see you next time.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rochelle of Resume Chic. Crafted pro writing to market your career to the next level. We do resumes, cover letters, thank you letters, interview prep sessions, critiques, business letters, employment verification, any type of written content. I'm your girl, Resume Chic. You can reach me at resumechicllc.org. On Facebook, I'm Resume Chic LLC. And on Instagram, I'm _Resume Chic LLC. Hope to talk to you soon. Let's get back to the podcast here.